Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Up Next. Man, I'm gonna come back with another video. Hey, man, say, man, look, before this video even gets started, man, make sure y'all, 50% off Satin line beanie. This is the last one left. I told y'all yesterday we're gonna be selling out, but it seems like today we're gonna be selling out. You feel me? But this is the last one left. So if you a subscriber right now, what I need you to do is either hit up at upnextlifestyle or at upnextmalyt on Instagram and purchase this 50% off satin line beanie. If you don't know what a satin line beanie is, all it is, man, is a do-rag slash bonnet inside of a beanie, bro. The most comfortable do-rag bonnet that you ever seen in your life. You're not going to Walmart with no bonnet on, are you? But you going to Walmart with a beanie on, ain't you? All right, then. So exactly that's why I came up with it for y'all. You feel me? So make sure y'all go cop. Don't live up under no rock. Go shop. You know what I'm saying? So and this is for all, if you got braids, dreads, any type of hairstyle, you know what I'm saying, just to protect your hair. You feel me? So make sure I go cop, man. Let's hop straight into this. Shout out to GuntherDaGreat, aka DREADLOCKS, man. We're gonna make sure y'all go like, comment, and subscribe on his junk. You feel me? Go support that. Let's hop straight into it. Let's get it. Let's go.
You want some new products for your dreadlocks? Make sure to go to greatlocks.com and pick yourself up either the locking gel, the locking bun, the DREADLOCKS crochet hook. They're all great products for your hair. The best thing about these products is they work for any hair type. So make sure to click the link down below and shop now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of DREADLOCKS. I'm GuntherDaGreat, and today I'm reviewing the top 5 rated dreadlocks on DREADLOCKS. So this week we're highlighting your guys' favorite dreadlocks.
So I guess
comment down below your top 5 sets of dreadlocks. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it's always good to have dreadlock inspiration, especially if you're starting dreadlocks or if you already have them. Guys, let's go ahead and get straight into it with number 5. So Polo G has some pretty dope dreadlocks. Let's start off with this hair type. If you want to get dreadlocks like him, if you follow all these steps on me telling you how to get your dreadlocks like him, you can get them exactly like his. So just pay close attention and I'll give you basically all the steps you need in order to get your hair like his, or if you just enjoy it, want to know the backstory behind everything, then this is perfect for you guys. So starting out with Polo G's hair type, he has a 4B hair type. Now this is a very curly hair type. If your hair type is like this, then your hair locks up a little easier.
No cap, I got a 4B. I'm just not realizing this because of the curl pattern. You feel me? Like the curl pattern of my new growth, you know what I'm saying? That's how I can tell.
Than other people. Say if your hair is straight, it doesn't lock up as easy if it was in the 4s. And that's a little pro tip for you guys. If you have straight hair, it takes longer for your hair to lock up. If you have really coarse and thick and curly hair, then it's easier for your hair to lock up because curly hair locks up easier and quicker than straighter hair. So it's a really long scale from the 1 hair type all the way down to the 4C hair type. And there's all these range of hair types in between. And the closer you are to the 4s, then your hair locks up easier. The closer you are to the 1s, your hair takes a little longer to actually lock up. Now, knowing his hair type and looking at how his hair is, you can kind of tell how he started his dreadlocks, and that's what we call a method. Now, by looking at his hair, I'm thinking that he started out with free-forming. So his hair just naturally started to...
Why should I tell y'all? He started off free-forming just like me. Then he went to the twist. I believe everybody started off free-forming, bro. Because who want to start a dreadlock stage like this? Let's go.
To lock up. And if you see on some of his recent videos or his recent posts, you can see that his hair was actually freely forming. Some of them are forming quicker than others, some were longer than others, and that just comes with the maturity of the dreadlocks. But we've seen many people do this, going from free-form dreadlocks to maintaining them. And I'm telling you, we've seen it with a lot of people. We've seen it with Sway Lee, I'm pretty sure. X6 and Tacion started out with dreadlocks like that. And many other people have actually started their hair out like this, with their hair locking up and then eventually going in and maintaining it. And any of you guys can do this. If you started out with freeform dreadlocks, you can eventually go in and maintain it, which I actually created a video on my main channel, GuntherDaGreat. I'm gonna leave a link to it down below. Me maintaining one of my friend's dreadlocks, and his hair was like out of control. He had freeform dreadlocks everywhere. I actually was able to bounce them back and retwist them, and they turned out great. But if you guys want to see that transformation video, you should go to my main channel and check that video out. But like I said, I think the maintenance that he does now is just twisting his hair. And what twisting does is it makes sure that your hair has sections so that your hair isn't all clumped together like how freeforms are. And that's why we call it maintenance, because you're maintaining your hair essentially from locking all together, because that's what your hair naturally wants to do, especially with the more curly hair types. If your hair is really curly, like really tight curls, your hair wants to lock all together. That's what maintenance does. Maintenance simply is separating the hair and keeping the integrity of each dreadlock. And one thing we see with Polo G is that he always wears like a hair tie on one side of his head. And people actually do this at...
Shit low-key look like X, bro. The first person I seen do this was X, bro. I don't know.
as a way to combine dreadlocks, but I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he just does it as a
just a
style.
hairstyle,
Because
bro.
as you'll notice, famous people with dreadlocks, they always try to throw in their own style with their dreadlocks, and it's pretty interesting to see that. But maybe he will eventually allow that to combine and lock up together, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Polo G does have some really awesome dreadlocks, and they definitely have came a long way. But let's get into number 4.
But guys, Spot 'em Got 'em has some really cool looking dreadlocks. They
Nice
are
fade,
somewhat
too.
wicks, somewhat Congos. You know what I mean by that is some of his dreadlocks are actually Congos, some of them are wicks, just because of the definition of both wicks and Congos. A Congo is essentially a very thick.
Look, bro. That's a Congo. That's a wick. You feel me? Congo, what he was about to say is a Congo, all that shit is like a very thick dreadlock, bro. You know what I'm saying? But a wick,
Dreadlock with finger-like dreadlocks at the tip. So it's essentially 2 or more dreadlocks combined into one, with the tips still being loose. And a wick is a just really thick dreadlock.
combined.
So you can imagine about 5 dreadlocks combined into one from the root all the way to the tip. But we see that he has multiple styles of dreadlocks almost. And in my opinion, it's really cool. And he really has a small amount of dreadlocks. It's prominently about 7 to 8 dreadlocks, which is actually really cool. And to be honest, I would really love to have this style of dreadlocks. And we do see this more prominently with the tighter curl patterns, which typically on my channel, I do review a lot of people's dreadlocks who have the tighter curl pattern. And I mentioned this over and over again, but it's just because that hair type is more suitable. And by more suitable, I mean that it's easier to lock up. And that's why when it comes to straight hair, it's a little bit tougher to actually lock up because there's less methods to choose from. And let's face it, straight hair doesn't want to lock up as easily as it is if you have a tight curl pattern. Because everyone knows if you have a tighter curl pattern, even if it's from the 3 range, like if you have a 3A, anywhere from 3A all the way to 4C, you're always having to comb through knots in your hair. If you're not getting dreadlocks, if you have an afro, or even if you have waves, you're always combing through knots. And that's because your hair naturally knots up. And I'm not discounting people that have straight hair that they don't get knots just naturally. Because let's face it, everybody's hair naturally wants to lock up. That's why when you see these images of people way back in the day, a lot of the images that you see are people with dreadlocks. Doesn't matter if they were African, even Asian, Caucasian. We've seen the Vikings have them.
I want to see one Asian. I just want to see one Asian. I'm not saying they don't exist, Gunther. But I just want to see one Asian, bro. Because sometimes I would just be feeling like you just be talking. I got to see it.
We've seen so many people have them. Like in the African culture, I know a lot of warriors.
Because you know, bro, this shit started from the African culture, bro. Don't. Yeah, we know everybody had just. Stop it. Stop. Don't go that far.
Warriors wore dreadlocks. And the same with the Caucasian culture. The warriors wore dreadlocks as well. Now, I obviously don't know
who started it.
The depth of what I just stated, but I do know that that's part of the culture back, you know.
Y'all just heard him. That nigga just said he don't know the depths. Why are you talking about it if you don't know the depths?
Hundreds of years ago. But talking about Spot 'em Got 'em's dreadlocks, he has some really cool looking set of dreadlocks. And that's what I really like about the freeform style of dreadlocks or wicks or Congos, is that they set you apart from everybody else. Even if someone else has dreadlocks, it doesn't matter because this really sets everyone apart. One thing you will notice on some of these close-up pictures is that his hair appears very frizzy, and it obviously appears frizzy different than if you were to see someone with straight hair and their hair being frizzy. That's one thing that really makes the straight hair dreadlocks distinct from the actual tight curl pattern dreadlocks. Is because with the tight curl pattern, if a hair comes out of the dreadlock, it constantly makes its way back into actual dreadlock. So for instance, instead of it going straight out, it curls back in because it is a curl. And that's why it's easier for the hair to actually lock up. So for everyone out there who has a tighter curl pattern, anywhere from 3A to 4C, and you're worried about frizzy dreadlocks, man, just get over it because that is eventually going to want to combine because your hair naturally wants to do that. Now, if you want to speed up the process and get rid of frizz, you can do it very easily using the GreatLocks crochet hook.
All you gotta do, man, is you want to speed up the frizz, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, get the satin line beanie. You know what I'm saying? This low key prevent frizz. Why you wearing the do-rag? Why you wearing the bonnet? Exactly. This a do-rag / bonnet inside of a beanie, man. You wearing a do-rag and bonnet to get rid of all that frizz, right? Exactly.
Which is linked down below. Another way to get rid of it is to simply just do palm rolling. And I actually have a whole video on that on the Lock Doctor, which is linked down below as well. Another thing that you notice about his dreadlocks is that they stand up. And it's very simple. If you want your dreadlocks to go in a certain direction, you have to just constantly put them in that direction, and then they will eventually stay there. It's just like twisting your hair, doing twisting with gel. Constantly twisting your hair, that doesn't lock up your hair. But the act of it actually staying in one position for an elongated amount of time, that's what locks up the hair. So with his dreadlocks, we can see that they stand up in some of these pictures, and that's because he most likely wears a headband or a head wrap or something that allows the hair to stand up, either while he's sleeping or even just when he's out and about. And then if you take it off, it's gonna stay in that position. So if you want your hair to be in a position, then just wear it in that position for an elongated amount of time, typically while you're sleeping, and then eventually it will just want to stay in that position. Now this is for people that want their hair to kind of have more volume and stand up, because when it stands up, realistically it stands out and it makes you look different. Another reason why his hair stands up and why it becomes easier for his hair to actually stand is because of how thick the dreadlocks are. Typically people with wigs, even when their hair is long, it wants to stand up because of how thick the actual section is. Now the skinnier the hair becomes, it's not going to want to stand up. Let's just face it, because not only are these dreadlocks heavy, but they're very thick at the base, which if you notice a tree, it stands straight up. And that's because
they're thick at the base and probably hard as hell to clean.
Root is very thick. And if you notice things that are smaller than a tree, like grass or weeds, they tend to fall over because it's not thick. So that's the same reason. But you guys, that's a breakdown of Spotumgottum's dreadlocks. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed it. I'm
gonna put Spotumgottum at 5 and Polo G at 4. That's just me.
Enjoy it.
But just off being, if the style, I can see why you put them at 4. The style, bro. So you know.
Dreadlock, they're really cool to look at. And I think it's something to really
But who dreads harder?
Appreciate, because they're so unique. And it's pretty interesting because on this channel, we've done so many videos on people with wicks, people with Congos and freeform dreadlocks, but they're all very different. Like The Weeknd, Lil Wayne, Basquiat, Bob Marley, like all these people have freeform style of dreadlocks, but they're all very different.
Spotumgottum definitely has some of the best freeform dreadlocks in the game. And the reason I'm calling them freeforms is because they are kind of like a freeform style of wicks, which wicks and freeforms are different, but I have multiple videos on both of those. But guys, based on views, number 3 is Lil Pump.
His hair is pretty interesting. He has like some
views.
Pink dreadlocks, some blonde dreadlocks. Just from looking at this picture, it does look like his hair is blonde, but it's not. His natural hair color is either dark brown or black, which I've seen in other photos, but we'll get into that in a little bit. His hair is blonde and pink right here, and it's very outstanding. So people are very attracted to the way this dude dresses, the way this dude looks, and his hairstyle. And that's a bold move. It's a very bold to actually color your dreadlocks like this, and just to have your hair out in such a great way, you know? And I've heard multiple ways on how this guy started his dreadlocks, but if you actually zoom in, you can see that he's just been doing almost pretty much whatever it takes to actually lock up his hair. It looks like some of his hair has knots in it. So what he does is he'll knot up the bottoms. I see a bunch of knots in his dreadlocks. So he actually ties them. Just grabs the dreadlock. Literally, he'll grab the dreadlock and just tie it like a knot. And I see that he has a knot in every single dreadlock, and that's just to assure that his hair is going to stay locked up. Which, from the looks of it right now, his hair is definitely going to stay locked up for however long he wants it to be locked up, because it is definitely locked. But I'm assuming since his hair is like wavy, maybe curly, but it's not super thick, that he did use crochet needle, that he may have used back combing, he could have used some palm rolling, and he could have also used rips and twists. One thing that he can't
crochet hook, needle, whatever the fuck,
is twist his hair, which he could, but it'd only be temporary. But other than that, let's move on to the next photo. This is actually the same day, just different pose. You can see the top of his hair, that he just has a whole bunch of new growth, a whole bunch of wispy dreads. His hair actually does look really mature for being that kind of hair type, the wavy, the curly hair type. And this just gives everyone with straight hair like hope, or with wavy hair hope, that you can get dreadlocks. He just goes about it in a different way. I noticed that he does put rubber bands at the tip of his dreadlocks, and I noticed on some pictures that his rubber bands are at the root of his dreadlock as well. And that will help section out your dreads so that they're not combining with each other. That's just a great way to maintain your hair, especially with straight hair or wavy hair. But it's pretty cool and interesting how he started them. And here's another picture. He's actually in the daylight, so you can see that his hair is very bright. The pink is just super saturated, and the blonde is super bright. And the ones in the front almost look like they're going platinum, like a platinum blonde with the pink contrasting it. And this is just, like I said, a crazy look. And that's why I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do a review on him, to show show how crazy some people's hair is and how bold people are in choosing their hairstyles. And I feel like that's how everyone should be. Like, be bold in what you actually want to look like and what you want to be like, but present yourself how you want to be presented. That's a big thing as well. In this picture, you can't see any rubber bands at the end of his dreadlocks. Looks like he's already got over that stage. I think there might be some at the roots. You can actually see some rubber bands at the root of his dreadlocks, and that's just to keep him from combining at the root. Now in this next picture, you can obviously see all of the rubber bands at the end of his dreadlocks. Now one crazy thing is that I heard someone tell me that he actually started his dreads with 2-strand twists, but I almost think that that's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but it would take a longer time, and his hair wouldn't look as progressed as it is right now. But yeah, he got all the rubber bands in there, and his hair is just bleached right here. It's not super blonde, more of a like bronze color. So this is during the earlier stages. I think this is when he started popping off. And here's another picture. He has beads in his hair right here, and you can see that his hair is not mature whatsoever, and his hair could almost even be braided right here. You can't really tell. He's got the beads in his hair. Pretty cool. You don't really see anybody wear beads in their dreadlocks, really. You mostly just see like dreadlock jewelry, like the metal pieces and all of that, but I've never seen like beads and dreads. Mostly braids is what you see beads in. But this is probably around the time when he started his dreads. He always has them hanging in front of his face. I personally don't even know what this guy's face looks like. But on to the next picture. He is at a photo shoot and he has his hair swinging, and as you can tell, the roots are black and his hair is blonde and pink still. I think he's gonna stick with this color. He's probably not gonna be like Lil Uzi and keep changing his colors, but you never know, he might. I think the pink and blonde is what he's known for in the dreadlocks, you know. And on some of his dreads, you can see that he does have rubber bands in them, and some of them don't. But I do believe still that even probably today, he has the rubber bands at the root, holding all the dreadlocks together so that they don't combine. But you can just tell his hair is super matured in that he's maintained it very well, because the roots look maintained right here compared to the other pictures, and they just look like almost they're twisted. They could be, you never know. But from the looks of his scalp, it just looks like he's maintained them with like crochet hooking and stuff like that. And here's another picture of his young dreadlocks, and they're super young right here. The tips are super skinny and very wispy, and his hair just looks messy, and that self-hyped out with a lot of length and less of hair.
That might be no bullshit.
Now guys, to be honest, I think Lil Pump's dreadlocks were at their peak about sometimes, and that's dropping further pins, and that's kind of how it goes with dreadlocks. Is some peak, sometimes they look like that as well. That there's sometimes where the dreadlocks just look really clean.
Hey bro, I ain't gonna cap. I feel like
where they just look messy, and that's just the flow and the progression of the dreadlocks. But guys, stay tuned for this Sunday. I'm dropping the rest of the top 5.
What the
Let's
fuck?
see if
X got. Nah, I ain't gonna say. Who am I say? Who got the best dreadlock? Shit, me? I got the best dreadlocks on YouTube though. Can't nobody tell me no different. Can't nobody tell me no different, bro. I got the best dreadlocks on YouTube. Y'all niggas can get 100 retwists. I can still I can still stay with 3-4 months and no retwist, and my shit still be the freshest. Real talk. Hey man, make sure that like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, man, Satin Beanie, man, the last one of the drop. Like, it's been like 2.5 weeks or so. The last one though. You feel me? Make sure I go cop, go shop. Don't live up on a rock right here at Up Next Lifestyle or at upnextmalyt. Make sure I go cop it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch y'all for later, bro. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Peace.